Hello, you're watching the business news brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. My name is Esther Edu Ohumeu. The Ghana Statistical Service has commenced the annual household and income expenditure survey for selected households in the country. The survey is to obtain data to estimate quarterly and annual household final consumption expenditure to support the compilation of quarterly and annual GDP by the expenditure approach. Outcomes of the annual household and income expenditure survey exercise include the rebasing of the GDP, the generation of data to support monitoring of targets under 12 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and continuous provision of indicators on the welfare of persons in Ghana. The funding for the survey is a World Bank loan to the government of Ghana. The survey will provide important data on labor and welfare mobility to better understand some of the dynamics in the labor market and how households move in and out of poverty. Some of the key macroeconomic indicators to be generated from the survey include quarterly GDP, regional GDP, quarterly unemployment, graduate unemployment, underemployment, inequality, growth elasticity of poverty, consumption expenditure poverty, and multidimensional poverty. The service is therefore appealing to all selected households to accept and provide the needed assistance and volunteer the required information to the field officers for national development outcomes. The survey was launched following a 2-day virtual and 17 days face-to-face training of 280 field officers. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, has extended the deadline for members of the scheme to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers from 31st December 2021 to 30th June 2022. Members who are yet to register for their Ghana cards have been entreated to do so in order to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers before 30th June 2022. From 1st July 2022, the Ghana card will be the only identification recognized by the Trust. This is in compliance with regulation of the National Identity Register Regulations, which requires the use of the Ghana card as identification for transactions pertaining to individuals in respect of pensions and transactions that have social security implications. According to SNIT, voluntary contributors will also have to pay their contributions using their NIA numbers. Members who are yet to merge their numbers should dial *711*9# and follow the prompts. Alternatively, members may log onto the SNIT website and follow the instructions to merge their numbers. According to SNIT, members can also visit the nearest SNIT branch with their Ghana cards, valid email addresses, and phone numbers to have the merger done. Once the merger of the SNIT and NIA numbers is complete, members can then use their Ghana cards to transact business with the Trust. New joiners to the SNIT scheme are entreated to provide their Ghana cards as identification to enroll onto the scheme. Management urges all members of the scheme to ensure that their numbers are merged to enjoy the convenience and comfort of using only one card, the Ghana card, for all transactions with the Trust. The Trust reminds the public that members who fail to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers will be denying themselves access to pensions and other social security-related services from SNIT. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust says there will be no further extension beyond the 30th June 2022 deadline. Let's have the interbank and commodity figures for the day. That was Business, brought to you by MTN and Whirlpool. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the energy segment. Energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleimana says the extension of the petroleum price stabilization and recovery levy is the only option left for government to mitigate the impacts of the continuous rise in crude oil prices on consumers. In an exclusive interview with GBC News, Dr. Suleimana explained that the extension will not reduce prices at the pumps, but instead maintain it, since the price regime depends on the dynamics of crude oil prices on the international market. He therefore urged the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, to be proactive in mitigating and safeguarding the markets, especially the downstream, to avoid inflation and other economic indicators rising.
Coming to the year is going to be an interesting one, and I think the government and as well as the regulator, they have to begin taking proactive steps to make sure that cogent measures are put in place, and the kind of these levies such as what we have. My suggestion is that I think they can just keep the levy for like 3 months, and even they should give like 6 months. Give it 6 months and plan in your mind that no, I can't get this levy within the next 6 months. And plan your government activities, you know, with the fact that you're not going to get this levy in any time soon. And if it comes, fine. But I think monthly extension is not the way to go. It's not a good thing for planning. At least 3 months and half a year would have been most appropriate. Will it have any significant immediately? No, I don't think. Just like the first time it came. But I always repeat that the symbolism is such a great move, and I commend government for that. I only hope that they can begin to look at other taxes that I consider always nuisance, and I always say that SPT is a likely candidate that the government can look at if the market gets continuously to become hotter, especially when prices are not coming down.
Mobil has made 2 more discoveries in the Stabroek block offshore Guyana, adding to the previously announced 10 billion oil equivalent barrels recoverable resource estimate for the block.
Since 2015, when it first struck oil offshore Guyana, Exxon has made more than 20 discoveries in the waters of the South American nation. Now, Guyana wants to capitalize on the large oil and gas discoveries over the past half-decade to build up an economy powered by its own energy resources. The South American nation became a crude oil exporter in early 2020, thanks to Exxon's huge discoveries offshore Guyana. Over the past 2 years, the U.S. supermajor and his core, its partner in prolific Stabroek Block, have made a dozen more discoveries, while the Liza Phase 1 project is very profitable for the oil corporations and for Guyana. Liza Phase 1 and 2 development break even at around $35 a barrel and $25 per barrel of Brent. Liza Phase 2 startup is expected in the middle of 2022 via a floating production, storage and offloading vessel, FPSO, designed to produce up to 220,000 barrels of oil per day. Exxon also said that the hull for the Prosperity FPSO vessel, the third project on the Stabroek Block at the Paraya field, is complete, and topside construction activities are ongoing in Singapore for planned production start-up in 2024. The field development plan and environmental impact assessment for the fourth potential project, Yellowtail, have been submitted for government and regulatory review.
That's all for the energy segment. The health news is next.
Welcome back. The Ashanti region has recorded 2 new cases of bird flu in 2 major poultry farms. A total of 18,000 birds in 2 separate poultry farms are to be destroyed to prevent the spread of the disease in and around nearby farms. Meanwhile, 10,000 birds have been quarantined, waiting depopulation at the affected farms in Oforikrom and Etrimam Bunia districts respectively. The Ashanti Regional Director of the Veterinary Services, Dr. Marlon Mensah, who spoke to GBC News on this development, blamed lack of strict biosecurity by farmers as a major cause of the outbreak. Still in health, a resident of Anyakpo, a farming community in the Adan East district of the Greater Accra region, Madam Vida Yetiekpo, is appealing for support to enable a 15-year-old son, Ruben Kunyagbo, undergo treatment for spinal injury. According to her, her son suffered the spinal injury after he accidentally fell from a coconut tree, and that has rendered him immobile in his limbs.
Ruben Kunyabo is a Class 4 pupil who has been out of school for over 5 months. Recounting the story, the distraught mother, Vidaya Tiekpo, said the son accidentally fell from a coconut tree and hit his waist against a Borasos palm tree. He developed a spinal injury as a result.
Yabi Ruben Kunyabo, enga school yanga aiskeuno malalata school. Enga P4. Lwene nyagba yeseva fo ba hinyale ibaje ko ne ba jane ne waloko e pa school. He has
been bedridden since then. He can barely do anything without assistance.
I
can't move my limbs. Please help me to get better.
They discontinued treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital because of lack of funds. Madam Vida Yetiekpo who raised ducks for sale, said she has sold all her ducks because of the financial burden and now lives at the mercy of the public. She is reaching out to donors to raise funds to resume treatment.
I already lost 2 of my 6 children and wouldn't want to lose another. I don't have any sources of funding than to appeal for help.
Alo 1 CD. Emi wahami. Inne no ko inge walo la na ata no ko he. Alo ma une ta no ko tui. Ne eba wami ne yebi Ruben kunyabo ne etesi ami ne maudi emi. Ole inge pe pa Ghana makla awami. Yebi Ruben kunyabo ne etesi ami.
Ruben Kunyabo further appealed to churches and individuals for support to enable him to get back on his feet and resume schooling. Donations can be sent to mobile money number 0240-526-019 with account name Vida Yetiekpo.
No amount is too little to support a worthy cause. That's all in this segment. We'll be back shortly with international sports and entertainment.